Because I Could Not Stop for That by Emily Dickinson. Title. The title introduces the reader to the subject of the poem Death. The word because engages the reader and creates suspense to the consequences that would take place.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves in immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labour and my leisure too for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the rain. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer, my gown, my tippet only two. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the crown. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries and yet feels shorter than the day, I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity.
Death. In this poem, Death is personified to be a bridegroom. He is characterized as a gentlemanly suitor who kindly comes to pick up the speaker in the carriage as if they are going for the wedding. The use of words ourselves and we imply that death had some connection with the speaker. With the use of an extended metaphor to characterize death, Emily Dickinson represents actual death. However, this is a paradox, as death in this poem does not represent the occasional frightening death imagined by people, but rather comes across as an inviting and courteous gentleman. The next is immortality. Immortality is characterized as a silent passenger or chaperone. This suggests that the soul does not die and is immortal, unlike the body. In the first stanza, the speaker is presented as too busy to stop for death, so death politely stops for her. Your death and immortality are personified. In the second stanza, he knew no haste suggests that death came to her slowly and that he has control over her. The speaker has given up everything only for his polite behavior, as if she is in love with him. The third stanza shows the stages of life. It is a flashback of her life. The anaphora draws the reader's attention to crossing the line between life and death. With the phrase setting sun, a change in the atmosphere is seen, creating an eerie feeling, suggesting the warmth of life is leaving. Also, the pace of the poem is slow, giving a dull feeling.
Here, the sun is metaphorically compared to life. The phrase, or rather, suggests that life is chosen to leave the speaker. Here, the atmosphere is creepy. The distance between her and life is increasing, and the warmth of life is slowly leaving her, hence, she is cold. Her clothing being inappropriate suggests that she might not be ready to die. In the fifth stanza, house is metaphorically being compared to a grave. Also, this could be a euphemism for the grave. The word house suggests that this is just a place where she stays. The reader now realizes that the speaker has accepted death. The word paused implies that this is not a permanent stop, signifying the presence of life after death. The last stanza of the poem suggests that time has lost its meaning. This is the only place where she speaks in the present tense. Even though a long time has passed, she still seems to remember the day death came to pick her up. This is crystallized in her memory as if it happened yesterday. This stanza has a paradox, as time only passes quickly when you do something pleasurable. So for her, that was a good experience. Lastly, this shows that the journey of death is longer than the journey of life. Structure. Dashes are used to pull the thought process of the reader to the next line. Enjambments signify that death and afterlife are long and slow processes. No rhyme scheme being present shows the uncertainty and unpreparedness for death. Use of capitalized words create an emphasis. An iambic meter followed, makes this poem sound like a hymn, giving it a natural and relaxed feeling which mirrors the general feeling of death. Alterations create a soothing sound and it lulls the reader into a sense of calm. Again, mirroring the general feeling of death, as one is very panicked when they are going to die. The mood of the poem changes from calm and welcoming to somber. At first, the speaker seems charmed by death. The mood shifts from peaceful to tense when the speaker describes all the things she has left behind with life. At the end of the third stanza, the mood gets eerie as she is growing distance from life. The mood gets dull and cold as the warmth of life leaves her. At last, the mood is gloomy when she stops in front of her grave. Tone.
Tone. At the beginning, it is casual and nonchalant. As she begins the journey in the carriage with death, she is not afraid by death like one would normally be. She is very casual about being with him. When she passes the setting sun, the tone gets colder and darker. At the end of the poem, the tone is of realization, when she surmises that she is heading towards eternity. Theme. The theme of the poem is Your soul doesn't die, it goes on forever. This idea of afterlife makes us relate to religious beliefs.
At first, the reader is shocked by Dickinson's emotion towards death, but later realizes the universal truth that death shouldn't be feared as it is a part of the endless cycle of nature. The goal of immortality is hinted in the first stanza, and from then on, we notice that the speaker has obtained it. After this point, time loses its meaning. However, the speaker can still feel her moment of realization of immortality like it happened yesterday. Perhaps in this serious truth, one may find that this poem is more about life, about how one should make it extraordinary and not live an ordinary life.